put it in third graph. Yeah, and it won't. Why it won't save. Probably too long.
Hendrick had to save it. Like, you guys tried to kill me. Yeah. Cliff was on the phone, so I don't know how long he'll be.
We'll put Mr. Hendrick right here.
Okay. No, but I did on Friday, and we got cars.
I know, it's a minute.
All right, I'll do it since you guys are asking.
Yeah.
The second lap.
That's probably why I couldn't send it to you. I checked, I'm still on it.
Mr. Hendrick, you want to come down? Where you sit there on that?
Royce, Royce already promised to move me to the top of the lyric list.
Whatever you want me to do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll try again.
All right. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Here we go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with our post-race press conference here today. The winner of today's Ally 400 NASCAR Cup Series race at Nashville Super Speedway. The winning car owner is none other than Mr. Rick Hendrick. Mr. Hendrick, interesting stat that we saw up on the board earlier, that now 6 of the last 13 venues that have opened, a Hendrick Motorsports car has won. Goes back to Indianapolis, Auto Club Speedway, Kansas with Jeff Gordon, and of course the Daytona Road Course in COTA with Chase Elliott, and here today with Kyle Larson. Talk about, again, today's race. Kyle, unbelievable job by the entire 5 team.
Well, you know, it was, I thought he was good in practice. I thought all our cars were pretty good in practice. And, you know, he did an awesome job. Cliff called an exceptional race, and pit crew did their job, and it was pretty flawless all day long. So, you know, they've been in full stride here for the last 7-8 weeks, and really all year. But it's good to finish it off. I wish William had a little bit of gas that we could have win 1-2 again. But we're happy to be here. I love this place. I love the crowd. It felt like old times. Fans excited. Got trapped trying to get in, but it just felt good. It felt like we were back years ago with the fans excited, shoulder to shoulder, and really proud of this guy. He's worked hard. They've all brought good cars, and I'm glad to get this win.
We're also joined by Cliff Daniels, the crew chief for the number 5 machine. Cliff, how worried were you there at the end of the race? Were you thinking, could you make it on gas? Could you not? Undoubtedly, you did make it on gas, but how much was it a worry for you?
Yeah, definitely concerned, and Kyle knew going into the race. He and I had talked about so many different strategies, even the caution coming out late, and you know, if we had to take rights or stay out. Or actually, one of the last questions he asked me before we walked out of the truck is what a fuel run was and what would be a scenario to save fuel. And I kind of, you know, walked him through potential scenarios, and we just didn't know what the race was going to play out like here at Nashville. Hats off to the folks at Nashville Superspeedway. What a great crowd. What a great race. Really cool atmosphere being here. So definitely concerned at the end of the race, but Kyle kind of owned what he needed to do to save fuel and got us to the end. He did a great job on track. Pit crew did a great job. Thank you to Valvoline, HendrickCars.com, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. What a cool day.
We'll go and open up the questions. First one right here, Jerry Jordan, bringing a microphone to you.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. Rick, to see the 5-car have so much success, and what we all know what that number means, and what does that feel personally to you, and for Kyle to come out here and just really show everybody that he is one of the greatest drivers out here?
Well, when I thought about it this year, and the 5 was our first number, and I was super excited to bring it back and then to run Ricky's paint scheme on it. That was kind of like icing on the cake, and then to see the car run like it does, and Kyle do the job, and Cliff do the job he's doing. It's super exciting for me to see all of the cars go, but the 5 was the first number. Almost didn't get through the year, and now to be here and have this many victories and to see that car back on track, it never gets old. I mean, I get nervous toward the end. We're going to run out of fuel. It's going to be a caution. All of those things that I go through. What is it, 270 times now?
I think 271.
271, okay. But well, I'm old. I can't keep up with it. But no, but I think every time that the car is on the track, I think back to Jeff Bodine. I think Harry Hyde. I think about the little shop on the hill. I think about I was renting transmissions, rear ends, and all those things. I mean, I don't think I had $200,000 or $300,000 to start. And so I think back to those days and kind of reminisce, how hard it was, and then how lucky I've been to have the talent that I've had, the drivers I've had, and it's just been unreal. I was talking to Richard Petty, and I said, I remember getting that autograph from you, and I never thought I'd get to go into pits, let alone have a team. And then we talked about the fact that he backed out on me. So maybe he'd have another championship, but no, it means a lot. It just, I think about all the people along the way, and I kept Harry's shop just like it is, with equipment in it, and so I can go up there and walk through there, and it's like going back in time.
Okay, we'll go over here to Matt, then we're going to go to Jenna next. Matt?
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. One for Cliff, then one for Mr. H. Cliff, this is the closest thing to like a plug-and-play situation in racing. It's something we see often, that you take a good driver, you put him in a new team. It takes a year or so for everyone to gel. You guys hit the ground running. We listen to you on the radio, and you so often tell Kyle, I like what you're doing, keep doing that. Is there ever a moment that you don't like what you see something out of Kyle? Because we haven't heard a lot of it.
First answer is no, not at all. The second answer would be, I'm so thankful to the group that we have back at the shop. We do a lot of prep work every week, all teams do, right? But Kyle really owns his time to come to the shop. And just to dig into the notes with us, obviously there's not a whole lot of notes for Nashville other than testing notes years ago. But Kyle has a great routine of how he preps for a race. Something I've tried to do, this year is to really understand the dirt world a lot more than I ever used to. I grew up an asphalt late model guy, so I've exposed myself a lot more to the dirt this year, because of Kyle, and just to learn how to speak his language, so that when we get in these situations, I can understand his feedback better, what he sees for a track, what he sees for a car, and there's no denying his talent is 10 out of 10 right now. So our job and my job is to make sure that he sees, all the notes and all the perspective of a race, just for how to manage a race. If you get behind, how do you get ahead? What different strategies can play out? Things like that. Not only is he an amazing talent, he's also really, really smart. Behind the wheel of understanding what's going on with other races. Around him. If somebody's off sequence, what are they doing? If we're off sequence, what does that look like? So he does such a good job, and we're kind of in sync. Going into a race, because the prep time that we put in during the week, And I think if we weren't able to do that, then it would just be a tougher learning curve. And it sounds crazy to say, but we're still learning each other every week. Couldn't be more thankful for what we have now.
For Mr. H, in the past, you have had reluctance to let your drivers go off and do other disciplines, open wheel, dirt, and Kyle has done way more than I thought he would ever do with you so far. He's about to go do some more. What was that initial conversation like, and does him having this success allow him to say, well, we're going to keep this rolling?
Well, I've let Chase do races and Alex, and so I basically told them, if you get hurt, I got to put somebody in the car. So I think as we get closer in the playoffs, I think we'll slow some of it down. But I think Cliff and I have talked about it. I think it makes him better to drive all these different cars, and especially those high horsepower cars on dirt. And the one thing that Cliff has talked to me about is he spends as much time or more time than any other driver in the shop. So if he wants to race, and he's got this as a priority, and I mean he digs and digs and digs. It's all he thinks about. So I think he's happier. I want him happy. I don't want him hurt. But I've kind of given up on these guys wanting to drive. And the crew chiefs and I've talked about it. They think it's good, and the safety deals are better. So I've told them all they can drive what they want to. Okay.
Jenna?
Mr. H, last Cup race in Nashville was won by the number 5 with Jeff Bodine. What do you remember from that victory?
I got the coolest guitar. I've got a Chet Atkins limited edition. It's the prettiest guitar in my collection, and I just remember how unbelievable that was, because I still can't believe we won 3 races that year. It was just it just blows my mind from the start. But Nashville's a great place to race. It's a great city. If I didn't live in Charlotte, I'd want to live here. So, but it's just I'm a country music fan. I was hanging out with Brad today. We've been buddies for a long time. It's special to come back and compare these two. I don't get the guitar this time. Do we get a duplicate guitar?
You can get anything you want, Mr.
Okay.
Hendrick.
Yeah, you got a guitar.
I'll put that beside the other guitar. Okay.
My second question is, you had Valvoline on the car today, just the 3rd race this season that a non-Hendrick company's been on the car. How's the interest in Kyle going from companies?
It's a lot of interest, and but my guys don't want to take Hendrick off the car. All the dealerships, they've got all kinds of promotions, but Valvoline's been a great sponsor of us for a long time, and we've had a lot of interest, and it's growing every day. And but we want to wait for the right deal. We don't want to take a piecemeal deal, because I think it's worth more to me than to do that. So, but it's tremendous interest in Kyle, and a lot of companies are telling me they appreciate giving him the chance, and some of them are ready to spend some money. It's just not enough.
If he keeps winning this way, why doesn't HendrickCars.com sponsor?
Well, I think that we're getting real close to that. So I keep jacking the price up to the automotive group, and they haven't said no yet. So
Let's go to back here in the back. Stephen with CBS.com. Then we'll go to a question from the press box. Then we're coming to Dustin and Bob.
This is going to be a question for Rick. Rick, a couple weeks ago, you were asked if you could compare Kyle Larson to any driver that you've had in the past, and you said Tim Richmond. And now we're looking at Kyle's 3rd win in a row, plus the All-Star race, and we don't know where the ceiling is yet. How much do you start to think about that summer of '86 when Tim won 6 or 7 times between Pocono in June and the Southern 500?
I just remember how talented Tim was, and he enjoyed it. He was fearless, and he did things with the car, like qualifying at Charlotte. He would tell me, when you run 4 laps, he said, I'm going to graze the bumper on the wall every lap. And he'd sit on the pole, but he'd take the paint off the right rear bumper, qualifying 4 times. And I mean, he was fun, and I think he would have been an awesome champion. I don't know if he's when you look at Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and all of the guys. That love to race and just excited to get in the car. He just reminds me a lot of Tim.
Right, thank you.
Questions from the press box, please.
Tucker White, Last Word on Sports. This one is for Cliff Daniels. Cliff, after all the talk of cording tires during the tire test a few months ago, what kind of tire wear did you see with your car today?
I thought, excuse me, I thought Goodyear brought a great tire, and our tires never had cords, never had any edges worn out or anything like that. A tire, when you can race hard and has 2 seconds to fall off or more over a run, the drivers get to slip and slide around, and it looked to me like guys that push their stuff really hard, you could kind of back off, cool it down, and make another run. I thought that was a great combination. I thought the track, the way the resin application went down, was great because we had multiple lanes that you could race. At any point of the race, you had guys that were fast on the bottom, you had guys that were fast in the middle or even up top. That's what we want to see, you know, from a racing standpoint when we come to any track, really, and especially a new track. So hats off to the track, hats off to Goodyear. I thought it was great.
We're going to go over here to Dustin. We'll come back to the press box in a minute. Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports, one for both. Cliff, fair or not, maybe a knock against Kyle at times has been not being able to finish off races where he's been dominant. We saw it today. We saw it at the 600. Are there certain things that are starting to come in place that's allowing that to happen? I know there's certainly been circumstances earlier this year where that didn't, but are you seeing something? Certainly he was, you know, he was calm with when you were talking about fuel mileage and the grill issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think circumstantial, like you said, and I don't remember every scenario over the past for races that maybe he didn't finish out after he led a lot of laps, but speaking to our year, there's been races that we've led laps and we haven't gotten the job done, so we took that very personal, right? We took it on the chin and went back to work at the shop and, you know, really looked at the way the whole race played out, from changes or communication that we had earlier in the race to what did we need to improve to really execute at the end. You know, fortunately, things are going well right now. I cannot say enough about our pit crew and our road crew, the guys back at the shop. They're building fast race cars. The guys are doing a great job on pit road. So from my standpoint, calling a race, and from Kyle's standpoint, I think having such strength of a team behind us almost makes that easier. So then, you know, we can hone in on those fine details to make sure I make the right call, to make sure he gives the right feedback, makes the right move on a restart. Because a lot of it is circumstantial. And again, that's when you've got to make a good decision or make the right move.
And Rick, certainly with this run, with the wins, the top twos, the last 6 weeks, this is something that's Jimmy Johnson-esque, Jeff Gordon-esque, that we've seen out of your organization. How do you view that? Do you see it in those terms with what he's doing? Or how do you look at it? I think the last time, Jimmy won 4 in a row in 07. So.
Yeah. You know, we've had a streak, but we didn't have – today wasn't a very good day for the 48, but they've been battling up there among themselves. So I think this year is the best year for all 4 cars. You know, we said we had one team with 4 cars, and they work together. Chad's in the shop, and the cars are identical as we can make them. The feedback and exchange is the best I've ever seen between the drivers. And my job is to keep it that way, not to have any feuding and fighting. And but I think on par, I look at William and how far he's come, and Chase, and I think that we've got 4 cars on any given race weekend. We got a shot to win with them. And but Kyle is he's just ripping it up right now, and. Jimmy was a lot like that. Jeff had a streak. So it's fun when it happens. It's a lot better than trying to go back and figure out how to get in the top 10 and the top 5. So I think they're feeding off each other. And this guy right here he's not taking enough credit for the hours and the videos and the work that he does. And you know, I think when I look at all the crew chiefs, and I think about Ron back on the plate and Chad in the shop, I think we've got more talent, more depth than we've ever had.
Bob Pockers.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. One for each. Rick, I kind of wanted to ask you what
You
Dustin
got a
asked.
haircut.
Yeah, how about that?
You've been in the wind tunnel.
I gained two miles per hour. What are you seeing in Kyle that is allowing him to win 4 races in a row?
He's one of the hungriest drivers that I've ever seen. And he doesn't, other than his family, he doesn't care. I mean, that's all he wants to do. That's all he thinks about. He drove at some track here and drove his motorhome here and got in at 12 o'clock at night, wasn't it?
True story.
I mean, he just eats, sleeps, and drinks racing, and he wants to win every race. I mean, he's just, and I think about him getting tired, but if you run 600 miles and go win another race that night, win 2 more races, his stamina is unbelievable. And but I've never seen anybody more intense that wants to race every minute of every day, and he wants to win.
And for Cliff, a lot of teams have brake issues. It seemed like some were choosing between short track brakes and intermediate brakes. Can you tell us, did you guys pick short track brakes, and were there any concerns?
Yeah, we were short track brakes and very, very, very conservative on everything braking, from brake tape open to our whole strategy. Unfortunately, you see some of the issues out there, and we had a decision to make coming here. Our kind of process this year has led us down a conservative road in these categories, and we were conservative at Darlington, we were conservative at Dover, places like that we ran okay. And you know, it's tough when you go to these races. Obviously, a new track here, so we don't have a data point of what the race is going to be like. Then you go to Darlington, unload race, Dover, unload race. I'm conservative by nature, and so our nature was to try to be conservative with that, and everything held up well.
Okay, we're going to take a couple more questions from the press box for Mr. Hendrick and for Cliff before we bring in Kyle Larson. Press box, any questions? If you do, make sure you give us your name and affiliation.
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com, one for Mr. H and one for Cliff. Mr. H, I was just wondering if you could talk about how much Alba Colin has been instrumental in part of the Hendrick Motorsports success over the last couple of years.
She's done an awesome job. She's super smart, and she runs a tight ship, and she's all business too.
Oh, she is.
And
Yep.
she attacks things. So we're very fortunate to have her, and she's also been on the GM side, so that helps us a lot. And when we talking to GM and their engineers about things we want to do, so she's special, and she really works hard.
Thank you. And for Cliff, congratulations on the win. I was just wondering if there's a weakness on the number 5 team at this point.
We're still, searching every week, and we identify things on a Monday. I know Kyle's nature. He's going to come in and meet with us, or we may do it over video conference. I can't remember, tomorrow or Tuesday. And he's going to identify things that he can do better. I'm going to identify things that I can do better. And really, that's kind of the mentality of our whole team. We search a lot every week. Guys, call me sad or grumpy at the shop, trying to just make sure that we uncover every detail that we can, just to make sure we don't miss something. And we missed a little something in qualifying today. I was sad about that. Kyle and I talked about it. We made sure we had good stuff under him for the race. But look, all teams are working really hard right now to make sure that they can bring their best stuff to the racetrack. Our team is certainly doing that. And we just have a really heightened sense of awareness. We know at any point we get comfortable, that's when the competition's really going to catch up, and then they're going to do more than just catch up. So it's amazing to have the wave that we're riding, and I can promise you we're going to keep our foot on the gas and do what we can to keep it going.
Thank you. All clear from the press box.
Next question for the press box.
All clear.
All clear. Okay. Cliff, Mr. Hendrick, thank you so much for being here today. Congratulations on the great win. We're now joined by our winner today, Kyle Larson. Kyle, introductory sentence. Just how bad of a machine was that you have today here at Nashville Superspeedway?
Yeah, it was another good one. We've had probably the best race car on the racetrack for at least a month and a half. So good to take advantage of it and get another win. Able to jump out to lead right from the get-go and basically lead the rest of the race. If it wasn't for the cautions at the ends of the stages, we had a near perfect day. So just happy with it. Happy to get another win. The crowd was awesome too. So kind of. I think the atmosphere felt really high before the race. It was just cool to be here, cool to be in Nashville all week, and always great to get a win.
Okay, we're going to open it up for questions. Right over here first. Stephen with CBS Sports. Or you can go ahead. You can go ahead first. Go ahead. Go right ahead, Peter.
All right, Kyle, 2 questions for you. Well, Peter Strada for TSJ Sports. First of all, this is your 10th career win and 3rd straight points-paying victory. What did both of those stats mean to you?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome to get multiple wins in a row now in the Cup Series. I mean really it's 4 wins in a row, so just cool to do that. Didn't think that was possible ever for me in the Cup Series anyways. I've gone on streaks in dirt racing and stuff before, but never been close to doing anything like that in Cups. So it's been awesome, and to get to now double-digit point-paying wins is great. So I'd like to keep winning and keep inch my name up the winners list, not only in NASCAR but at Hendrick Motorsports too. I think that's important to me.
And then the guitar trophy here is taking added meaning as kind of a memorial to Sam Bass. Did you have any relationship with him?
Not really. I talked to him a handful of times, and he was always an extremely happy person whenever I was around him. So he did a lot for the sport of NASCAR, and especially this race. I think when it was going on here in the past. So cool to win a trophy, a cool trophy, and cool to win that guitar. I think that's what we all were striving for this weekend was to get a guitar.
Okay, we're going to go to Steve, and then we'll go to Dustin.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. Kyle, you win a lot, whether it's at this level or sprints, whatever you're running. And it feels like sometimes when one guy starts to win all the races and lead all the laps at a certain level, it's like fans get restless and the boo birds come out because, oh, this guy's sticking up the show, oh, this guy wins too much. And yet the reception for you has been glowing among fans today, a couple other races as well. What exactly do you attribute the receptiveness among fans? Your dominance, fans seem so receptive to it and seem to celebrate it so much. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's still just early on, so it could change. But I think fans can appreciate me because I do it in all different types of forms of racing, not just NASCAR. You don't know what day, you don't know what car I'm going to be in and on what day of the week, So I could be in a sprint car like I will be tomorrow, in a late model, middle of the week, some other day. So, and then a cup car on Sunday. So I think fans, because I'm a little bit different than your normal race car driver, I think that's why fans so far seem to still cheer me on and like see me winning. And I think they can appreciate my story and how hard I've had to work to come and get to where I'm at today too. So I think there's a lot that goes into it, and I hope I appreciate the fan support, and I like being a fan favorite. It definitely means a lot to me.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go over here to the left of Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, do you look at this season as 4 wins or could have been 8 wins? Because I think it's pretty conceivable you could have won 4 other races this year.
I don't know. Right now, I guess I'm not thinking about that, but at times, I can catch myself thinking about it. There's definitely been a few that have slipped away, but at the same point, we do have the most wins now in the series, which is great. So I really am just looking forward now. I mean, you can't change the past, so I'd like to just continue to win, continue in stages, keep racking up the playoff points to try and distance myself from the competition and make our final 10 weeks a little easier, or give us a little bit of wiggle room in case we slip up and make a mistake or have some bad luck. So that's my goal, is just to keep winning to win races, but to rack up those playoff points.
Obviously, some of those cases have been circumstantial in not getting those wins when maybe you could have, but you've been able to do it the last couple races here, the 600 with leading laps, dominating and winning. is there something you're able to do a little bit more these last couple races as opposed to what didn't work out at Atlanta or what didn't work out someplace else for you?
I don't know. I mean, I think you learn from all of those times that you didn't win. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot that I learned from at Atlanta that I'm sure I've, without even really knowing that I'm doing it, that I put into my driving that has made me better to win races here lately. You know, Kansas was another one I could have won, and I feel like there's been a couple times now where I've been in the second row of you being the guy pushing and restarting, and I've done a better job of not screwing that up. So, I mean, you learn from every time that you don't win. And yeah, I mean, I think it kind of adds up and stacks up to, now you can race and make less mistakes and, get wins.
Let's go to the press box. Questions?
Tucker White, last word on sports. Kyle, with all the talk corded tires we saw during the tire test a few months back, what kind of wear did you see with your car today?
Well, I didn't get to see any of the wear for my seat, but
by wear,
from what my crew chief was telling me after the cautions, every time they said, my tires looked great. I'm not sure, and obviously I burned them down there after the checkers, so we don't really get to see that last run. That was really long, but I felt like I was getting tighter towards the end of that long run there, and but yeah, they put that resin down. I wasn't here at the test, but I know at the test, or I'd heard at the test, they were only able to go like 20, 25 laps before they'd cord a tire, and then they put this resin down, and it obviously got us a long ways through a run. So I felt like that was a really good thing for this concrete style surface. It seemed like, and I've never raced here before, but like when we race at Dover or we race at Martinsville where there's concrete in the corners, trying to think if there's any other tracks. Like when we get a caution, we pick all that rubber up, so then we have to lay it back down. But it seemed like today, maybe that resin was just sticky enough or something that it didn't allow us to pick the rubber up off of it under yellows, and I think that helped our tires live throughout a run. So, yeah, I don't know if that'll work, on a pavement track like it does on a concrete track, but I felt like it was a good move that NASCAR did.
Okay, we're going to go to Matt, then the Mike, and then we'll come back to Jerry and Jenna.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I got two for you, Kyle. Talking to Cliff earlier, he says that, he's a pavement late model stock guy and you're a dirt guy. And early in y'all's relationship, he tried to learn your lingo to better forge that relationship. Do you remember a moment early in the season where maybe you saw him bridge that gap, or were you guys just immediately clicking for whatever reason?
Well, I think I'm really easy to work with, I feel like. And my lingo is pretty easy because I don't really talk a whole lot, and I'm just saying I'm loose or I'm tight. But I think he did come to a handful of my dirt races throughout the end of last year when they were still racing with Jimmy. Like he came to World Finals at Charlotte for the late model, and I think he was there for when I ran the sprint car. He came to a midget race at Millbridge. So I think kind of him putting himself around me and just I guess looking from or listening to me from a distance, maybe that helped. Because I haven't really felt like there's been a bridge to be, to overcome or anything like that. I feel like we've worked really well together this whole year, and we continue to probably get even more comfortable and work even better together. So he's also a really easy guy to, I feel like, communicate with because he is so good at communicating. So yeah, I feel like I'm easy to work with, and so far he and my whole team have been really easy to work with.
So are you doing Huset's and the Nationals, or just one?
What
this week?
Just Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. So I was talking to Rick earlier about how he's pretty much taken the restrictors off, and you can go race whenever, wherever, as long as he feels like this is your priority. Was that ever a conversation that you guys need to have about how much you're going to be racing when you guys are doing the contract? And are you glad that you've been allowed to do, whatever you want to do?
Well, I'm definitely glad, for sure. It's not something they typically had let their drivers do in the past. I'm friends with Casey and was friends with Casey when he was racing at Hendrick, and so I had known about them and kind of how they didn't like Casey when he'd go race other stuff, and he didn't get to do it a whole lot. So, yeah, when I was getting ready to, start talking with Mr. H and Jeff about, racing their Cup cars, I was a little bit nervous and bummed that I probably wouldn't be able to race as much dirt. I didn't think that they would cut me fully, but I also didn't expect them to kind of let me do whatever I wanted either. So, it's worked out really great for me. Cliff, I think, understands that when I race, I get better, and I just kind of go through him on what races I want to run, and he's been cool to let me race as long as, it's not interfering with anything that I've got going on with the NASCAR team, because that's always been my number one priority, even in the past. I know a lot of people don't think that, but NASCAR's always been my number one priority, and I don't miss anything. I don't go race a dirt race when I'm I could be doing something else with the NASCAR team, whether it be sponsor appearance or sim day or whatever. I'm there for the NASCAR team, so I've kept it that way, and I've been able to race a lot throughout the weeks. So summer's really busy, but I love it.
There's never a moment though where it's like 35 races, 40 like a chip or whatever.
No.
All right, let's go to Mike right here in the center.
Hey, Kyle, Mike Organ with the Tennessean. Is winning here any more special considering the rich history that racing has in Nashville, and that this is the first NASCAR Cup Series race in 37 years, and that Hendrick Motorsports has such a rich history here and at the fairgrounds as well?
Well, I think it definitely adds some enjoyment just because, this is the first time the Cup Series has been to this racetrack. And I stayed in the city this week, so I got to see how pumped up all the race fans were for the race this weekend. There's a lot of fans that recognize me throughout the last couple of days walking around and wishing me good luck and saying how excited they were to go to the race. So that's what kind of made me feel extra special about this race, is just seeing how excited the fans were that to go to a new venue sort of, and get to watch some Cup race in Nashville.
Jerry
Jordan, kicking the tires.net. That quarter-mile burnout you did in front of the grandstands there, just a salute to the fans, I guess, for being out here and sellout crowd. Your thoughts on seeing all the people that came out here today? It pretty much was a salute to the crowd. I didn't get to make it the whole length of the grandstands before my tires started shredding, but I was going to try. I was getting ready to do a burnout at the flag stand, and I noticed that the stands stretched out a long ways down, and people were still standing up and cheering. So I went down there and was going to do burnout as long as I could. So it was cool. And Rick did say he might have to evaluate during the playoffs about extracurricular racing. Does that bother you at all?
No, I have my schedule pretty much set up where it slows down a lot once the playoffs come around. And that's kind of what I always used to do too. So like I said, I'm not doing anything different than I did before. I mean, there's just a few kind of midweek races local that I'd like to do. But it's like I said, NASCAR is my priority.
Okay, we're going to go to Jenna and then Larry. Jenna?
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Jenna.
Rick says, he worries about you getting tired. And then he said, but his stamina is like nothing I've ever seen before. So how do you do it? How do you've won 4 races in 7 days and run 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm used to doing. So my body's built to be busy, I guess, and be racing all the time. I don't know. I get sleep. I mean, the dirt races start at like 6 o'clock, so I get more sleep on those nights than I do for a normal day when I'm getting up early to take Owen to school and go work out and stuff like that. So summer months, I probably get more sleep now than I do throughout the normal parts of the year. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's what I've always done, and last year I raced 96 times or something, so I'm used to it.
Okay, we're gonna go to Larry Woody. Are you done,
I was
John?
going to ask you
Got
about
one more? Okay,
Valvoline.
go ahead.
You had a sponsor this week. How important do you think it is to win when you do have a company that has chosen to come aboard with you?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely important to me to do a good job on the track, but also, try to give them as much exposure as we can throughout the night, and we're able to do that today. So just really cool that they're willing to back me and get on our race car, and I'm glad we could bring them to victory lane today. There was a lot of people from Valvoline here, and Cliff and I got to hang out and talk to them for a while before the race. So yeah, nice to have them here, and I look forward to the other couple races we have at Valvoline, and hopefully we can get some more partners throughout the rest of the season.
Okay, we're gonna go to Larry Woody right over here, Kyle. Then we'll go to the press box. Larry.
Hey, Kyle, the last Cup race in Nashville was won 37 years ago in a number 5 Hendrick car, as Joe Williams pointed out. And now the new one, the return, is won in a number 5 Hendrick car. Could you comment, Kyle, just kind of the coincidence or the oddity, or just your thoughts on kind of linking the past and the future?
Yeah, I didn't realize that until he mentioned that in Victory Lane. Definitely a really cool stat, and just I think more than anything, it just shows how well Rick Hendrick has been able to maintain this success throughout so long. It's unbelievable, how he's done so much for this sport, and we're all very fortunate to be racing for him. Mechanics, everybody at the shop. There's probably, I don't know if there's a single same person, a part of the race team that was there 30-something years ago when they won here last time, but we're celebrating with another win. So, like I said, it just shows how he is so good at bringing people that he believes in to keep his organization as strong as it is.
Okay, we'll go to the press box. Make sure you say your name and affiliation. Thank you.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Kyle, congratulations on the win. I'm just curious if there's a weakness on the 5 team right now, and how do you look forward to Pocono next weekend?
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely probably areas that we can always get better. I think you can always get every area of your game better. So, even when we've been winning, we still look at things that we could have done better, whether it be on the racetrack or on pit road, just little things to maximize our day. So, I guess I can't pinpoint like one thing that's a weakness, but if we can continue to get every area better, I mean, we'll be really hard to beat. So that's we're winning and we're happy, but we're never content. So we'll have a meeting again tomorrow and talk about how to be better.
How do you feel about Pocono next weekend?
Yeah, I'm obviously excited to go to any racetrack right now, but I do enjoy Pocono a lot. I think that'll be a style of track that we're really fast at, hopefully. It's 3 different corners, so I mean, there's that'll make you a little bit nervous, but yeah, I've always felt like I've gotten around there pretty well, even at Ganassi. So I'm excited to get there.
Next question from the press box.
All good.
Okay, going to go here to Bob, then we'll go to Stephen. Incidentally, the win was 1984, Jeff Bodine in the number 5. For those that, a couple of them asked that question.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Rick said that you came in at midnight. Was that Friday morning when you drove
Here?
your motor home? Yeah.
I got here at 4:30 in the morning. I raced Wednesday at Waynesfield and won, and yeah, drove all night, pulled in here at 4:30.
And you weren't tired?
I got an energy drink from Sunshine, and it helped me get here. So I actually wasn't that tired, but no, I got caught up on my sleep for sure.
And I wanted to ask.
I was tired, but yeah, I mean, you'd be tired.
Yeah, but I'm not Kyle Larson.
Sleep right here.
Yeah. Your 3 points wins have been 3 different types of tracks. Charlotte and 3 different aero packages, really, almost, with Charlotte, Sonoma, road course, and then here. Does that add anything to the significance of it that you were able to do it? It wasn't just 3 same tracks.
I don't know. I guess I don't really think that way. But I think it just shows the strength in our race team right now in our organization. For us, for Hendrick Motorsports to, I've won, but really all four of us have been really good at all those styles too. So I think it says a lot for the playoffs and stuff like that. But like I've said every week now in here, it's still a lot of racing left to go and a lot of opportunity for other teams to get better and even for us to get better. So just got to keep working hard.
Okay, Stephen.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. Kyle, following up on some of the Nashville-specific questions, incidentally, today's win tied you on NASCAR's all-time wins list with Sterling Marlin. There's such a history of great racers in Middle Tennessee, in the Nashville area. Are there any in particular that you maybe admired on your way up through the ranks?
I don't know. When I got to race at Ganassi, I heard a lot of Sterling Marlin stories, funny ones from McMurray, probably that I can't really talk about, but I guess I did get to think of Sterling. I heard that he always used to stay at the hotels. He'd bring a motorhome, but he'd still stay in town in a hotel. And I was in a hotel this week, so maybe that's we channeled some inner Sterling Marlin and got a win this week. But yeah, no, I think just with me being at Ganassi and him being there, I guess he'd be one that I admired a little bit.
Makes sense. Thanks, Kyle.
Over here to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Hey, Kyle. The moment where the final restart happens and Cliff is telling you got to save 3 laps of fuel and then you get the debris on the front grille, like how did you guys manage that part of the race there for that 15-lap stretch right after the final restart?
Yeah, so I knew we needed to save fuel even really before he ever kind of told me to, so I was kind of starting to back my entry up and then be easier on the throttle on exit, and he was able to realize what I was doing and kind of coached me on doing a little bit more of it. And then, yeah, there was paper and plastic flying all over the track all day long, and there was a few times throughout the race where I got trash on the grill and would have to, tuck up behind a lapper and get it off. So thankfully, it never landed in a spot where my temps rose quickly, where it was like they just slowly rose. And about that last time, it got to where it was starting to get too hot right when I caught him and was able to get it off quick. So was a little bit stressed out then, but in 2 when I was saving, I could pay attention through my mirror and stuff and realize that I was still pulling away. So just kept doing that.
It seemed like you and Cliff just never lost your composure at all. I know that's kind of just who you guys both are as people. Does that kind of speak to your working relationship, that you guys just sort of, everybody just kind of kept their cool, and even though it looked like the wind could possibly slip away, it didn't bother you guys, it seemed like?
Yeah, definitely. Cliff's a great leader, and he's really good at, I feel like, communicating and keeping everybody informed and keeping you calm that way. So, yeah, I was just trying to, and two, when you're saving fuel, like, you feel like you're going way slow, so it's easy to kind of like calm yourself down that way, at least for me. So yeah, I was just trying to, I was calm and just trying to count the laps down and hoping that a caution wouldn't come out, because I knew strategy would get crazy like it did at the ends of the stages. So I didn't know what the call was going to be if a caution came out. So just but also trying to plan ahead and stuff like that. But yeah, thankfully it just it played out like we needed, and we got the win.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, I think
the question is, does all the racing that you do help you at a place like Nashville Superspeedway?
Yeah, I think all the racing helps for everything. Like I win a cup race and it helps me for dirt racing. I think too, even though it's different race cars, like looking at driver telemetry data and stuff helps when I go race a sprint car as well. Even though, like I said, they're different cars, you can still I can kind of imagine a line in my head of what I'm doing in the sprint car, and I think that helps me. And then too, I think just racing a lot, and I'm in racing situations more than anybody else in the world, really, but especially in Cup, and I think that helps me stay sharp. It helps me be aggressive. It helps me understand what things are doing and tracks changing, and stuff like that. So, and two, I think you're just getting into a rhythm and staying in a rhythm, where none of these guys are going to get back in a car until Saturday. And I think it's a big advantage for me to be in a car multiple times throughout the week.
Kyle, congratulations. Thank you for the
Thank you.
time that you've taken with all the media. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about